every single human being can benefit from a therapist, especially the ones that think they're good. I'm good. I don't need a therapist. Like, what you don't need to have a problem or have something wrong with you to talk to a therapist.
You're a parent and you struggle, and there's obstacles you experience, and wow, like what a wonderful thing that they've done is to never let you feel that pain. Wow, you guys. And it's those acts of service, acts of kindness. When you do have a client comes in with severe like depression or, anxieties or panics or whatever disorder, usually those kinds of approaches help them to heal, because helping other people heal you in a way.
This new generation of women expect a man who makes more money, who's smarter than them. And unfortunately, like the reality is, there's not that much supply of men that fit these categories or requirements that this larger group of women want.
Reza,
Hello.
hi. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so honored to be here with you. I've been following your work for such a long time. I think I started following you from this one amazing reel you did on how my dad met my mom. And it was the Middle Eastern version.
Oh, yes. Yes. It was exaggerated.
Yes.
Very loosely based on real events.
But it's so tastefully done. I think
you.
that every Middle Eastern individual connected so much to that video. I mean, I was just laughing for days, and I was showing my mom, my dad. So anyway, that's how I found you, and I've been really admiring your reels and like the way you naturally make people laugh.
Oh, thank you.
Have you always been like a funny person? Is this naturally you?
I don't know if I've always been a funny person or like a comedian, but I've definitely always been, I'm an only child, so I've kind of been like the center of attention in the family, but I've always been the one entertaining. I'll give you an example because you're bringing back a memory. This was not prepared.
Really?
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch all my aunts and how they dance.
How many aunts do you have?
3. Well, on the mom side.
Yeah.
And that's particularly the side that
Yes.
we have a lot more drama or humor that we could lean on. So I remember when I was a kid, I used to go on like at family parties, go on stage like in front of the family and do impressions of my mom, her sisters, the husbands, and like their different like, and everybody would laugh. So
yeah.
And I used to like till this day, my dad every party he's like, Reza, come and do the Michael Jackson. So yeah, I have since I was a kid.
He legit told you to come do the Michael Jackson, like at events.
As a 34-year-old adult,
God.
he still does.
You still do that.
And I still deliver.
So since you do the Michael Jackson version, can you do one right now?
That'll be absolutely. I mean, could you? Where do you want me to do it?
Here.
Like here? Like sitting down?
Yeah.
No music? Raw?
You want me to play music?
Play a little.
Which Michael Jackson?
I can't get up. We can't turn the cameras around. Can I do it here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, do it.
I want to see this live. Hold on.
Y'all ready for a show?
What am I putting? Michael Jackson what?
You know what? You play whatever your heart tells you, but I can.
Smooth Criminal?
No, that's a little too much for this little movement. Put on Billie Jean.
Billy Joe?
Billie Jean.
Billy Jean. You guys are ready? Hold on. Should I leave this?
Leave it.
Wow, you guys. Oh my God. And this is where the ladies are like, yay! Oh my God. You guys got literally high five on that.
Woo! Low high five.
That was so awesome.
Thank you.
Look at what you guys get to see, the live Michael Jackson version. That was so good. Where'd you learn to dance like that, first of all?
It's in the blood, my love. It's in the blood.
Does your dad dance like this?
My dad does not dance like Michael Jackson. No.
So
But he
which
dances.
side do you take? Mom's side? Oh, you're with your
Take a breath.
aunties. Drink some water.
Thank you.
Gotta.
um,
So your aunties,
yes. What about them?
you said they dance
They
and you watch
dance.
it.
Yes.
That's so cool. You know, this is so interesting. I've always found like Persians in general, you guys are so phenomenally close as family.
Hmm.
What do you think you guys are doing right that like you guys are this close, but you know, what can other people learn from you guys? Because there's this closeness, there's this infinite respect and love for one another. I don't know if there's boundaries, but it, you know, coming from like a Persian Armenian background, we don't have a lot of boundaries in our family. So everyone's in each other's lives all the time.
Hmm.
Everybody knows about each other. But what do you think like makes a really good foundation of a family? What is your family doing different?
It's a good question. Family is in when you say family, like my parents or like everyone in my family.
Like I guess like your mom with her sisters and how close they are, or your dad with their brothers. Like there's just no separation. Everybody is just so in love with each other in a way.
Yeah.
How do you think that foundation is maintained?
I mean, this is the first time I've had to think about this question to give you like a proper answer.
Welcome
But
to my podcast then.
yeah. Which might not be completely factual or 100%, but I think a lot of it has to do with ego.
Mm,
Um, I think you'll learn to put your ego to the side a little bit more with your family.
really?
Really and no, not really. That's what I'm saying. Like I think some Middle Eastern families have a lot of ego.
Yeah.
Um, but at least I've found in my family, there's more. There isn't really. I've seen a few instances where like brothers don't talk
Yes.
purely due to ego. They won't admit it, but it's like their pride,
Right.
which is like a weakness, I think, of our culture, like that pride, man of the house vibe. But what I've seen in my close family, that hasn't happened.
Wow.
That's been put to the side. And so by taming the ego as much as possible, I think it provides room to like get over silly fights because at the end of the day, you're sisters. Who cares what she said about this? Like, I
Yeah.
miss you. So I think just a continued conversation throughout the years
Hmm.
and not allowing for too much of a gap between disagreements. Because I think if you just wait too long to talk, then you'll end up not talking for years.
That's so true. Like you mean like talk about the issue right away. Don't because sometimes families do let that linger.
Yeah.
Instead of like hashing it out and trying to like conflict resolution, right, as we call it, they let it linger. And that's why people depart. Like they fall apart like that.
Yes. So like what I've seen and what I feel like I've learned and looked up to throughout my childhood, like let me explain who I am and then I think
Please.
that'll unpack and give you sort of um, give you a better understanding or context as to what my parents are. When I get in a fight, like I can't hold a grudge. Like I have to deal with it right away. Like and I don't like if something happens, I'm not gonna not be friends with someone forever just because of this one thing. Like I can't handle it. Like I have to talk, figure it out. If I have to apologize, I'll apologize. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen that when I watch my mom, for example, with her sisters. Like there's all this drama, and they're all in Iran, so it's just like
It's always like that. Yeah. What family doesn't have that,
but
right?
they're like her sisters are more dramatic, for example, and she's like the therapist. She is the therapist to these sisters, like trying to get them together. And I've noticed my mom, even if she does get upset and has a grudge, she wouldn't hold it because she it hurts her. So she's like, forget it. Like I'm gonna make up and call my sister
Wow.
again. So I think it's because of that behavior and the fact that my mom didn't hold grudges over the years compared to her sisters,
Mm-hmm.
that's made me the person that I am. And that answers your
Wow.
first question of how do what's the secret sauce? I think that's the secret sauce within my family. I can't say within
Everyone's,
every
yeah.
Middle Eastern family.
That's so beautiful because usually, there's this thing in psychology. They say it's really people have to learn to sit with other people's discomforts.
Mhm.
And that's a really difficult thing to do when you know that the person in front of you and you are in an argument with each other, but then you have to be okay with their discomfort. What I'm hearing you say that was not that wasn't the sauce in the family. It's if there is a discomfort, don't sit with the discomfort, figure it out, like talk about it, which you've learned to do that. That's what
Mhm.
makes you have such successful relationships with people.
I would tend to think so. Yeah,
That's
I think that that's a
beautiful.
big part of it.
Would you say that you've had happy childhood or a difficult childhood? Because you said you were an only child.
100% happy childhood. I
That's
mean, I think
awesome.
if you like unpack it, I have a therapist now, and she's like, you don't have to go through something super serious to have trauma in your life. Like everyone has trauma.
Yes.
Whether the trauma is your dad was late every day because he was working really hard to put food on the
On the
table,
table.
like that is a form of trauma. Um, but I definitely had a happy childhood. I mean, a lot of the things that we went through at the time, I didn't notice or feel any of the quote unquote discomfort. Whereas when I look at it in retrospect and look at like what my parents went through when we first moved here,
Yeah.
my dad was delivering pizza for $1 an hour, even though he was like
Yeah.
a senior engineer back in Iran. Like that probably to him at that time was very painful, right? But they never transferred that pain to me. I felt like I was living my best life. I didn't notice or feel any of that discomfort.
That
So I'd
is
say I've
good
had
parenting right there. Because it's really difficult to keep that transfer. It's you're a parent and you struggle, and there's obstacles you experience, and wow, like what a wonderful thing that they've done is to never let you feel that pain. That's why you are so, I mean, like when I see you, when I see your energy, you're just genuinely such a joyful person. You're very happy. I don't know, do you even get angry? Do you get angry? What's
Yeah.
your angry?
Yeah, I do.
Naturally, you're just such a like joyful person. I can't imagine like how your angry would
I'm like,
be.
I'm gonna get angry right now.
Let me show you.
Angry. Yeah, I've been upset. I definitely get angry. I think, um, generally I tend to or try to be more positive, and I think I have a really good routine that sets me up for that. But
Mhm.
there's a time that I
What's the
recharge.
routine?
You want to know the routine?
Of course. I mean, if there's a secret to happiness and something successful there, I mean, people would love to know that. Why not?
There's okay.
Teach us.
Routine. I'll tell you. I go to sleep at 9:30 to 10 p.m.
Amen to that.
Use my Aura ring. Shout out. Uh, sponsor me. It tracks your sleep, so this helps me like really understand what are the
Let me
triggers.
get that ring.
It's because you can actually keep it on, like an Apple Watch. You might take it off at night. It's just uncomfortable. But the reason why I like this so much is it just helps you measure your sleep to understand what are your personal triggers and interruptions in your sleep so that you could start iterating and get to that like perfect formula of like how can I set myself up for the perfect sleep, because I truly believe that your sleep is the determinant of everything else that happens in the day.
Why do you think that? Were you taught that or you just naturally felt that?
I feel it.
You feel it.
Like when I get good sleep, my ability to handle micro problems without getting anxiety is exceptional.
Wow. Just on good 8 hours of sleep.
Good 8 hours, yeah. Seven to nine. So 8 hours
That
is
is wonderful because when you look at your reels, you wouldn't tell that this is a man that goes to bed at 9:30.
yeah.
You come off kind of like a party animal on
I am a
Instagram.
party animal. I do it all, baby.
So it's fabulous.
But weekdays. This is my routine for weekdays.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah, it's Saturdays are
So
not.
9:30 you're in bed.
9:30. Well, 9 I'm in bed. An hour I try to watch something, Friends, whatever. Maybe read like 10 minutes of a book to wind down. Sleep. Wake up at between 6 and 6:30. Do my bed. I've been doing my bed every day for
Isn't
like the
it change your
last
life?
15 years. I would not feel normal if I didn't do my bed.
Can you help our audience with this? Because this is, when I was working in private practice, so I'm a family therapist, right? When I was working for a private practice, this was the first thing that I would tell my clients. Like if you have depression, if you have anxiety, whatever you're struggling with, the first thing you should do every day is make your bed. It just sets the tone for such a positive, more accurate day. Do you think that's what it does for you?
100%. I mean, I would even take it further. I think it's The original clip is from some military guy who's doing a speech. I think you know
David
which one.
Goggins?
That's the one, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
That's what made it famous. I think the whole like making your bed thing, and military does
Moms
that.
did, but okay.
Moms did, yeah, but nobody.
But nobody acknowledges
talked
our
about it,
Persian Armenian moms or Persian moms. You know, it's
But
David
no,
Goggins.
if you see my bed, it's like it's
Yeah.
pristine. By pristine, I mean like
I'm
the
sure.
edges are tucked in. You go into it at night. I have a sheet under the duvet cover. Important
You
sheet.
should do a video on
If you
that.
don't have sheets,
Yes,
like
tell
I'm
him.
talking about like a fitted sheet and then a sheet on top,
Yes.
and then the duvet cover. If you don't have the sheet in between, you're doing something wrong and you're cheating the system. Okay,
And yourself.
by myself and yourself, yes, yeah. By myself. No, if somebody tries to help me do my bed,
Yeah, it's a fight.
it's like get out of the kitchen.
Get
you
out of
know?
the room. Yeah.
Get out of the room. Like
What
you're
are you
not doing it
doing?
right. You're actually making it
Do
harder.
you have a dust vacuum? I just ordered one.
No, but you're making me FOMO a little bit. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm the type of guy that like everything on the outside looks perfect, but like when you open up the drawers, it's not very organized inside the drawers
How do you live like that?
because it looks amazing on the. It's only what the eye can see.
I hear you.
Yeah. So if it looks good, then it feels good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yes, I think doing your bed not only sets you up for the day, but I think it's number one, the first thing you do when you wake up is accomplish something. And then whatever happens throughout your day, whatever happens, negative, positive, oftentimes a lot of negative, you know that when you come back home and when you come back to bed, you're going into the nice, beautiful bed that you made. So it's your last little pat on the back. No matter how shitty your day is, you know that you're going home to a bed that's perfectly made and ready to tuck you in.
Why do you think that's validating for you?
I don't know
Because
if
it
it's.
sounds like a validating. It sounds like that to me. I don't know. Maybe it's not for you.
You really
Everyone's
are a therapist, aren't you? Picking up the vocab that I'm using. I don't know if it's. It might. There might be some element of validation. I think it has more. Yes.
But why would you do it if it wasn't right? It's serving you.
Yeah, it's like I did this kind of thing. Like I made my
I
bed.
did this.
Yeah. Oh, you're making it sound very ego-driven. But you're making me think twice. Like, is it the ego? Am I a bad person?
Oh, that you're not.
No.
For sure.
Okay, great. But yeah, long story short, it makes me feel good.
I make my bed.
I make my bed. Jesus. Don't go into my childhood trauma. It's just a bed.
It's just,
It's just a bed with beautiful sheets, 10,000.
where do you get your sheets?
They didn't pay me, so I don't know if I should shout them out.
If they didn't pay you, don't do it.
It's okay. Edited. Pay me.
I love you. You're the funniest guy ever.
I better get some brand deals out of this. Okay. We came all the way from West Hollywood to Burbank. Just kidding. Wasn't that far.
Pay him
Pay him.
and me.
And her. And them.
You're such a joyful person. Oh my goodness. See, look how easy this conversation's going. You
Oh,
were
yeah.
worried.
I was not. I mean,
Hmm.
well, no. The reality is,
This
I
is
get
that thing that I just watched. Reza.
which one.
It was this OnlyFans girl, and it was a podcaster. And then after every word, she's like,
Oh, was it with Pillow Talk? That's my voice podcast. Right?
And then he's like, why do you after every sentence go,
He said that. I love that.
And she's like, I don't say,
Mhm.
It's like, I went and I got tea today. This is horrible. Anywho, where were we, you guys?
We were at the very beginning of my morning routine.
But this is what happens when you sit next to Reza. It's just so natural.
You just
Everything
go on
turns
tangents.
to go, like, funny. We were in the childhood. That's where we were. You said you had a great childhood.
No. We were in the routine.
We were in the routine.
And then we just stopped at the bed. There's tons of shit that happens after.
Talk to me.
Okay, are you sure?
Yes.
I feel like you want to know more about my dark secrets.
No.
Okay.
I think your audience would want to know.
Sure.
I mean, like you said, you were seeing a therapist. Are you comfortable talking about
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Because that's very beautiful. I believe in therapy. I think, first of all, it's a noble career, not a job, noble career to have. But also, I think it's very courageous for men and women to seek help because our people, we're not really that fond of therapists just yet. I think
Hmm.
we're coming around to it. But when I hear a Middle Eastern going for therapy, I'm like, yes,
Oh my God, she changed my life. I love it. I mean, I
yes,
didn't go to
praise
her.
her.
Uh,
I'm sure she's gonna watch this, and I
She
mean, you
can't.
don't
She
have to.
can't take any more clients, by the way. So don't.
Don't go to. Yeah, she's full because of
She's
you,
full.
probably.
Yes, I have enough problems for the world. I'm just joking.
Awesome. So tell us, like, how did she change your life? You said she changed my life.
I mean, I think first thing I want to flag with the whole notion of going to a therapist, I don't think you need to have a SOS sign on top of your head, huge emergency to like need to. You're not going to the emergency for a therapist.
That's
Yes, in some
beautiful.
cases for sure. But I think that every single human being can benefit from a therapist, especially the ones that think they're good. I'm good. I don't need a therapist. Like,
Yes.
what you don't need to have a problem or have something wrong with you to talk to a therapist. The therapist will just enable you to be able to unlock all the potential that you probably haven't tapped. And I'll give you one really good example
Please.
that will probably resonate as like one big takeaway. And it's actually based on a book called The Big Leap. Have you heard of it?
No.
So the big leap is about how we live in different zones. There's four zones. Zone of incompetence, which is like you trying to fix a car like a mechanic. That's not your thing. You're gonna
Yes.
fail miserably. You're gonna get
Oh,
annoyed.
yes.
Zone of competence, which is like admin work, doing emails. Yes, you can do it. It's not fun. It's not particularly exciting. A lot of people can do it. There's zone of excellence, which is where most of us sit. For example, you're doing your podcasting or you're doing your daytime job and you're great at it. It's almost like a comfort zone. This is
Mm-hmm.
something you're excellent in. But there's another zone called zone of genius. And the big leap is going from your zone of excellence to your zone of genius. And what happens is we subconsciously prevent ourselves from going into the zone of genius because of something called your upper limit problem. What does that mean? I'll give you a very tactical example. Let's say you win a big deal at work, and then a day later, something in your personal life happens. You get into a fight with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and then you come back down to that frequency. And the reason we do that subconsciously is because we're used to living in a state of not abundance, not pure positivity. And so the whole thesis of this book is like, you can live in a state of abundance, which is your zone of genius, if you just become aware of these things that are happening subconsciously and work
Wow.
towards overcoming it. And so I went up to her one day and we were just chatting. And she's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in sales, by the way. That's my full-time job, 9 to 5." I was like, "Man, like I'm struggling and I love the struggle. Like this game is about struggling and I'm just grinding and grinding. I'm gonna crush it soon. Just struggling." And she's like, "Reza," she's Italian. She's like, "Reza, I've heard you say struggle like 10 times. Like, well, che cazzo? Like what happened? Like why you say struggle?" I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, like, it's the hustle, like struggling. That's what
Mm-hmm.
it should be." She's like, "Yeah, because you're keep saying that story in your head. Struggle, struggle, struggle." She's like, "I encourage you to flip the script and just imagine that all these deals would just land on your lap. Imagine if there was a world if things were easy. And I want you to tell that story in your head." And so we started this practice of manifesting, of me actually every morning imagining, okay, this client's going to sign this contract. And I imagine it to like the degree of seeing it in our Slack channels, like really feeling it. And like manifesting is not like, I'm not going to manifest something that's completely out of reach. I'm not going to say tomorrow I'm going to be in a $50 million house with a
Of
Lamborghini.
course.
It has to feel right. And as soon as I started making these changes of believing that things can be easy and abundant, it literally started happening like that.
Just by believing in it.
Just by not being so negative by default.
Yeah.
I think we're all just kind of unfortunately low key negative by default.
Where do you think that's is stemming from? I mean,
I think it's stemming from how we were raised. Like if you take me for example, if you look at my parents, like, and it's not like they're doing it intentionally.
yeah.
But like, Reza, it's a tough world out there. We moved here, we didn't know English. We had to learn, like I had to work this job for $1 an hour. Like we get fed this information that to achieve a high level of success, there's a lot of struggle and pain. And I'm not saying you don't need to work. You can not work hard and achieve big things, but I think it's just a switch in an abundance mindset versus a zero sum mindset.
That's so powerful. Like that doesn't just because it was that mindset for them doesn't mean that that's your mindset. And a lot of these mindsets that we've picked up is, I think, learned behavior in a way. Like
Hmm.
we've watched our parents say these things and act out these, and naturally we've learned them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's ours. Like we can literally change that. And that's exactly what you're saying.
Hmm.
That's powerful. So that's do you feel like that's worked for you, obviously?
Yeah. So I mean, that was probably one of the like more like tipping points in like
Uh-huh.
the therapist Reza relationship, where I was like, holy shit, like we're on to something. Like this is
Yes.
insane. Like, and I didn't come into it being like, oh my God, I went through this super traumatic experience. Like I need therapy help. Like she helped me uncover something that I didn't know was a problem. And unlocking that has opened the door, mentally speaking, to many, many things. I mean, there's certainly that you cannot debate this. There's certainly a different vibe when you go about your day genuinely like feeling positive and things are going to happen and this is going to go according to plan, but just not attaching it, like having attachments. If you remove the attachments, because yeah, of course, sometimes you're not going to get the deal. But if you just trust, this is what she always says. She's like, just trust. Like there's a woman upstairs that's like doing things, just trust her.
A woman?
She calls it a woman. Like anyway, the
Oh, got it.
spiritual,
Okay, okay, okay.
like just the
Got it. I
universe,
was like, wait,
the
what
wise
woman?
lady, she calls it. She's also very spiritual. It's not
Gotcha.
like
Okay, okay.
super clinical. Um, but it's very interesting. Like when I wasn't doing well at work, she's like, Reza, like maybe you're not doing well at work because like that's not your path. Like maybe you're not supposed to do well. You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to get fired. And because you get fired, it forces you to go into like hustle mode and you find another job that ends up being the exact job that you wanted. Like you don't know. Just trust what's happening
That's
and
very
stop worrying
true.
about the future and the past
This
because
control that we have. Are you do you feel like are you controlling?
for sure. And that's actually the first thing we talked about in therapy.
Really?
Because I was like, I can't, my, tactical problem that I'm looking to solve. She's like, so what's up? Like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, sleeping. I find that it's hard for me to get to bed at night. She's like, well, do you think it might be because sleeping is like kind of a form of death and letting go of control? Like, I think that that's the problem. I think you're not comfortable letting go of control because when you're awake, you're able to control everything. You're planning, you're scheming. And then when you're going to bed, if you continue to scheming and planning and thinking about this, that, and the other, that's what's keeping you up at night.
And the anxiety around that. It's
Yeah,
insane. Like it's every other person I know is struggling with anxiety right now.
classic.
Like I swear to God, I don't know a single person that doesn't have it. But I think that anxiety serves us such a good purpose.
Hmm.
You know, I think we just have to like listen to it, and it's hard to tell somebody who has that anxiety to accept it. Sometimes they don't know what that acceptance means. They'll eventually find it, but it's certainly my anxiety serves me a purpose. I think it does question your morality in a way too. Do you feel like your anxiety serves you a purpose?
Yeah. By the way, speaking of anxiety, where are the other water bottles?
You want water?
You promised there was three. I'm done.
Can we have water?
Ladies and gentlemen, drink a lot of water. It's very
Drink a
important.
lot of water. Yep, there you go.
Thank you so much. Sponsored by Trader Joe's.
I actually had a
Best
wonderful.
goddamn water in town.
I had a girl who brought water that says Edit Alaverdyan podcast on it, but we're out of that one, so we have to
Oh
use the Trader
no.
Joe's. Yeah.
I was gonna bring my
You have a Stanley here.
it's actually a fake Stanley, it's Hydro Flask. Pay me. Seriously, I can't keep throwing these brand names around. Jesus. Like, Moftrori. You know what that means?
What?
Moftrori.
What?
Like
Muftrori.
people that like
I know what poru means.
it's kind of like poru, but
It's
it's
kinda
like
like poru.
someone who like never like pays the bill and like lets other people pay like
Oh my God,
Moftrori.
it is a Muftrori.
Yeah. Give me some water.
Pay him.
Yeah.
You're so so funny.
What was your
So,
serious question? Anxiety? Does it
yeah,
serve me?
does it serve you? I mean, it does serves me for sure. It humbles me for sure. Oh my God, it humbles me.
I mean, I think there's good anxiety and I think there's bad anxiety, with the good being the one that serves me. I think there's a healthy level of anxiety,
Yes.
and it's our relationship with anxiety. So, like, I'll give you an example. I
Mhm.
learned this one from a TED Talk, um, where when we feel, let's use public speaking as an example, when we're about to go speak, our heart is racing.
Yes.
And that's anxiety. That's the feeling of anxiety. But if you flip the script on how you receive these physical reactions, it's actually preparing you to be able to speak louder, to be bolder. And so I don't think anxiety is going to go away. I think what's in your control, which ultimately liberates us as humans, is the fact that we're in control in terms of how we view anxiety. So if I view it as something positive that's happening before, like the other day, I closed a really big deal and my boss is like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "Excited and nervous,"
Which is the same
which is
symptom.
the same thing.
Which is
So
the
it's a
same.
good thing. When you're
Very.
feeling nervous and you got butterflies, it's a good thing. So flip the script and use it towards your
Hmm.
advantage. There's also like a lighter form of anxiety, which exists throughout your day, like almost every other second, which is what, quite admittedly, like the fire under your ass to get that project done before end of the day, to make the 3 extra calls, whatever it is that you're in business, whether you're a mother, I don't know, you have a little anxiety that like you might be late to pick up your kids. So it makes you cook faster. So like those are healthy levels of anxiety. I think when it becomes
Debilitating. Yeah.
exactly, that's when it becomes
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
challenge. But I mean, I'm in no position as a therapist to diagnose
I
the
think you
solution to that.
are. I
But
think you look like sometimes experience makes you a therapist too.
mhm,
It's not always like career, but naturally, like, when you go through a lot in life, you just become more wise
mhm.
and you give great advice. You are very empathetic, like, you can support and comfort, and that's beautiful. I mean, like, I'm sure if someone's struggling, they can come to you and you would probably just naturally comfort them.
I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
I think
It's a skill, right?
it's
It's a muscle you build.
because it's a good balance of like actually listening and then trying to like not always put your POV on it. It's
Mhm.
more about it's actually sometimes just about listening. Like
It
I
is
don't want your opinion.
very healing.
Um, but it's true. I do. I mean, especially with this therapist, I feel like the more I talk about it, the better I practice it. Right? When you become a teacher, you're a much better
Of
learner.
course.
Even yesterday, my friend was talking. I'm not gonna say her name. She's talking about a guy that she's seeing, and like,
Say
oh,
her name.
I'm
Say
not
her. No,
saying that.
I'm
No,
kidding.
it's
I'm
okay.
kidding.
But she's saying like he's got all these things that I want, but like he doesn't have this. I'm like, okay, so what? Like everyone's gonna have
Doesn't have
everything,
this.
something. It's pretty good in that department. um, and I'm like, it's so interesting. Like you, every person you've talked to, like you've just been so quick to like find the problems, right? Like
Mhm.
what's like maybe turning you off or whatever. Like the one thing that's turning you off. I'm like, let me try an analogy with you. I want you to look at that plant and tell me what color it is.
Mm.
She's like, green. I'm like, okay. How much red did you see right now? Can you point me to it? She's like, no, there's no red. And then she turned around. I was like, red right there, red right there, red right there. You're only gonna see what you're looking for.
Yes.
So I don't know. It was pretty like she was like, whoa, you're right.
Do you feel like dating has become really difficult since we're on that topic of relationships? Is dating hard for millennials? Why?
What
Why did you? What
what
happened?
do you define as dating?
Like a relationship, being in a relationship with someone.
Okay.
Is that hard to find a stable relationship nowadays? Everyone's complaining. Boys are complaining. Well, men are complaining. Women are complaining.
Boys.
Boys.
We're all boys. um so okay, the reason why I asked you to define dating was I don't have that much experience
But you don't
with a
have a problem
girlfriend.
with.
I do not have a problem.
I'm
But
just-
that's why it's not, maybe it's not dating. It's like different. It's more
well, dating, because I'm a little bit conservative, but what I meant by dating is like actually finding like someone to date,
not
go out
just
with, and
sleeping
have
around.
not just sleeping
Okay.
around.
Great.
No, Reza.
Because that's a different topic.
No, not that kind of dating, but
Okay.
like a relationship, finding love.
Okay, so I could tell you that through the perspective of my conversations with other people and not maybe
Please.
personal
Yeah,
experience.
what's going on out there? Tell us.
I don't
married
know.
people.
Subject matter expert, Reza Jackson on dating.
What's your real last name, by the way? Come on.
This is top secret.
Mohadpur.
Top secret. No, but you're not far. You're not far. M-O-U.
Tell me, what is it?
No, Musavi.
Musavi.
Musavi Zadeh.
Reza Musavi Zadeh.
There you go. Wow,
That's
the Zadeh part
beautiful.
you got.
Zadeh.
Trying to get like white people on the phone with like credit cards, like pronouncing
Reza
it like
Jackson.
Sayed Reza Musavi Zadeh. I'm sorry, sir. I think let me just try that. I'm like, sweetie, just relax. Just don't. She's like, no, let me try what. Like,
Where are they calling from? Why are you in debt?
They get so passionate of like getting the name right. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
don't. You're not gonna
They're
get it right.
very-
They're like, no. One more time. Musavi Zadeh. I'm like, there you go. You got it right, sweetie. You got just
That's a beautiful last name.
Jackson. Come on.
No.
Okay, fine. Musavi Zadeh. My
It's
mom's
beautiful.
like, when you die on your grave, it's gonna say Sayed Reza Jackson Musavi Zadeh.
Style.
Style.
I'm funny too, right?
You're very funny. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
For
welcome.
calling me funny.
What was your serious question?
My serious question is, why has dating become a complete disaster amongst millennials?
Before we get to that, hold on. Have you seen that guy, Edward Petrosi? He's actually Iranian Armenian.
Yes.
And he's like, I said no. This is serious. I grab a long, rigid knife like this,
Serious.
grab the phone, tack, tack. So Persian. I love Edward Petrosi. I love you, man. Sorry.
Pay him.
Pay him. Pay me. Okay, where were we?
Your relationship.
Relationships. Okay.
We're moving around so much. Oh my God.
That's okay.
Sorry for the editors. Yes, relationships. I mean, not just dating, again, like for marriage.
I think there's
for
a couple of
married.
things, and this is not controversial. I think this is pretty like,
Make it controversial.
okay.
Who cares? We
ooh,
go viral.
drama. Bridgerton vibes. Scandal.
Do you watch it?
I started watching it.
Isn't it fabulous?
It's so fabulous. It's pretty much like Iranians, but in England. Like everyone's courting. Like someone brings their white BMW.
Always.
Oh,
More.
okay. I think this is what's happened. There's a couple of factors. Okay. One, there's just such an oversupply of dating apps, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the whole COVID thing happened.
And they still can't date with all these dating apps.
But that's the problem, is that people have become so, like, especially with COVID, have stayed home and have resorted to dating apps, that their ability to socialize in real life has diminished,
Yes.
right? So that's one problem, is we're getting like a very fake, not real human connection version of dating.
Mhm.
And then two, and this is just based on podcasts that I've listened to, is that in the last, 30, 40 years, there's been a lot more women women are much more educated, degrees, etc.
Yeah.
And what's happening with that is this new generation of women expect a man who makes more money, who's smarter than them. And unfortunately, like, the reality is there aren't that many men to
Yeah.
support there's not that much supply of men that fit these categories or requirements that this larger group of women want. And the ones that do fit these requirements want to be with a bunch of other girls. So like, they're getting shafted, the men, and so it's making them more nervous to come up and talk to girls. Girls'
Yes.
requirements are becoming more and more and more.
Very.
And now there's this huge delta of supply and demand. And so I don't know what the solution is, but the suggestions I give to some of my female friends is like, why does he have to make more money than you? Like, why
Yes.
does he have to be in a more status wise, like, better job than you? Like, what if the man is the
A
caretaker?
mechanic.
Yeah, like, he's the caretaker. Like,
Which is
he's a
wonderful
really good
job.
dad. Like,
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
a friend whose husband is a school teacher,
Mhm.
makes way less than her,
Yes.
but she tells me, she's like, in the household, he's the man.
Yes.
he's the man. He makes the
She's
decisions.
submissive.
I just make the money.
Yes.
So like, I think it breeds that kind of a new understanding and disassociation with traditional male and female roles for there to be more, connections. There you go. I've solved dating
Yes,
2024.
but that was so beautifully stated, and I don't think that our generation, like millennials, we're not very accepting of that, though. That's such a beautifully way to put it. That's actually a beautifully conservative way of putting things, that who cares how much he makes?
Mhm.
As long as he's making money, he's trying to put food on the table, he's a provider, he's trying his best. As long as he's a good person, he's going to be a great dad, a good husband. We're not looking at the characteristics. It's very objectified, like the car, dressing, and like career. Everything is very objectified nowadays.
And materialistic is in
Very.
like, do these things actually matter? Like
Yes.
when you're in your deathbed, are you like, oh my God, I wish I had the whatever E class instead of the C class. I wish my home had 2
Mhm.
more pools. No, you think about the connection that you had with that someone. And I'm not saying that I'm not materialistic at all. I certainly am.
What
in
do
some
you
cases.
drive?
Mercedes-Benz.
Of course.
Clutch. Come here to me.
I drive a Cadillac.
Do you? Wow. Nice.
Thank you. I like Mercedes.
Like the
A
Uber-
Belou
the
Cardi.
Uber black ones?
No.
Because a lot of Armenians do Uber black drivers.
It's Baby Belou.
Oh, baby Belou. Wow. Okay.
Electric.
That's what happens when you get an Armenian and Persian together.
That's right.
Danger.
This is so fun. I love these conversations. See, you're like, naturally, you dive deep into like meaningful conversations like this. You have it in you. You can hold like a.
I do.
good-
I'm not just a clown.
You're not.
What is that?
You would hold an awesome conversation on a date.
I would.
You would.
And I certainly do, ladies. You know my handle.
Maybe. Are you advertising?
I'm always advertising, okay? It's called
I can't
ABC. Always be closing.
ABCD.
No,
Yes.
I'll always be closing.
By the way, this is what I wanted to ask you. I kept forgetting. What makes a good salesman? That's what I wanted to ask. I'm like, I keep forgetting.
What makes a good salesman? I mean, that
Yes.
definition has
It's a
been
challenging job.
the answer to that question probably has been changing as I learn more, and I'm still got so much to learn and learning. But the most freshest one is having an abundance mindset.
What about honesty?
Absolutely. I mean, honesty comes with an abundance mindset.
Right?
An abundance mindset means that you are going to be honest, and even if you think that honestly is going to cost you the sale, you have belief that somewhere down the line that honesty will get you a bigger sale.
Yeah.
So that ties into the abundance mindset.
Can you tell us more about
Serving people.
Yeah.
I think we've lost touch with how important service is. I was listening to this podcast at Simon Sinek.
Mm-hmm.
It was
In leadership?
Diary of a CEO. It was a
Yeah.
new one. And he's talking about how much, and it's so fun. Like I literally felt this today. He was saying we've forgotten how much service plays a role in our own happiness. And he gave an example of like, he was in New York and this guy was parking his car and he had room behind him, but he just parked really shitty. And he's like, and Simon went up to him. He's like, hey, can you move your car a little bit? Like somebody else can fit. And the guy's like, why? You want the spot? He's like, no, but like somebody else might. And he's
Yeah,
like,
just-
no, I don't care. And like ignored the conversation. And it was such a small act of kindness. But his argument is that by you live in a world, you don't live on your own. There's other people in this world.
Of course.
The more you give service, the more fulfilled you feel. And that's actually the secret sauce. And before I came here, I went to the bathroom at Fat Burger. And I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back. I'm just realizing
But you
the
need
effect.
to sometimes.
So yeah, but it's just a good example of this theory in practice like 30, 45 minutes ago. I went to go to the bathroom. The guy's like, you have to buy something. I'm like, no problem. What do you got? Cookie? Let's get a cookie. And another girl comes behind me. She's like, can I go to the bathroom? He's like, you got to buy something. And he's like, are you guys together? I'm like, she's with me. And And then she's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I love your hair. Thank you so much." She was so happy. And I walked out
Yeah,
of there like
you feel
so
good.
happy for like just helping someone
That's
in such
right.
a small way. And we're so selfish and we think that it's all me, that we forget that you feeling happy is actually very much about helping other people.
You know Robert Greene?
Kind of rings a bell.
He's amazing. He's written several books. But he talks about. Oh, my mommy's calling me. But
Pick
he
it up.
talks.
Let's talk to her.
No, it's okay. She's
Okay.
gonna be like, "Where are you?" The kids. My kids are with her. But he talks about how everybody is a narcissist.
I think I've heard this.
He's like every single, and the ones that say no, I'm not a narcissist,
Or even more.
are
Yeah.
we are all very egocentric. We're not very like we're very like mine, and
Especially in America.
especially in here, yeah. And there is a theoretical approach in psychology. So when we take our licensure exam, there is a theoretical approach there that's in the book, and we need to study, we need to know it. And it's those acts of service, acts of kindness. When you do have a client comes in with severe like depression or, anxieties or panics or whatever disorder, usually those kinds of approaches help them to heal, because ultimately helping other people heal you in a way. They do. They genuinely heal you in a way. It feels so good because you're getting a blessing of an old lady when you walk them across the street, or drive somebody to a chemotherapy appointment. See how that feels, like how grateful they would be. I don't know, it just does something to your body scientifically.
So this is actually exactly another example from Simon Sinek, where he said his friend really needed help with her marriage issues. And they're like, okay, every Wednesday we meet for an hour and I help you go through it. They did that for 2-3 months. For 1 day, 2 days after, she'd be great. And then it'd be problems again. And then he's like, let's try this. I actually need some help too. But he knew what he was doing in the back of his head. Why don't we do it this way? We do it half. You help me a little bit and I help you for half the time. And then what ended up happening for like whatever X amount of weeks straight, she just helped him the whole time, because they would go on and the conversation would naturally be about him and she'd help him. And 2 weeks after, she was back on track, didn't need any help, because it was exactly that. It was a service that actually healed
Absolutely. You know why therapists are therapists? You can ask your wonderful therapist this, because we heal ourselves by healing other people.
her. Interesting. And get paid a good buck for it. She's actually so affordable. I love her. I love you.
Aw, yeah, you too. We help others. We help ourselves by helping others. So it's the same concept. There's just something in helping people that is very healing, and I wish that everybody could really like understand and take that in.
Hopefully with this podcast, we'll have more and more people.
Yes, you guys. But yeah, so good salesman is basically all about that. You need more water?
You know what a
Reza?
good salesman needs? Lots of water.
Throw him another pair.
These 100 milliliter waters. Thank you.
Next time I'll have Stanley's with lemon and mint.
Are you not thirsty? Like, what's going on?
No. I'm actually very hydrated. I drank my mint lemon water in the morning as I was getting ready for you.
Mint, that's an Armenian touch, isn't it?
Mint? You guys have mint in all your spaghettis.
Persian, yeah.
Your Persian spaghetti. I saw
So
you
good
cooking
at
with
it,
mom.
man. I cook a mean spaghetti with Taddy.
You know what? I'm so proud of you. You are. I see. Tadik is.
I'm incredible.
Where is the best Tadik?
Reza Jackson's house.
Come on. Everybody go to Reza Jackson's house for Tadik.
Not everybody. Not everybody. Just...
I love how you got scared. And not everybody.
Don't find my address. And like Taddik is a very sensitive thing, depending on how big your pot is. You can't invite more than 4 people.
Oh man, it's so good though. What is the history behind Tadik? Do you know? It's like somebody just burned rice one day and they went.
I don't know.
But it's fabulous.
It's fabulous.
It is fabulous. Have you been back to Iran? Lighter note.
Is it lighter? It's getting pretty dark over here. No, I went back. I used to go back to, okay, so let me tell you. When I was I'm going to just tell you a little story because it makes sense here. I moved to Vancouver, Canada when I was 7. Backstreet Boys days, Spice Girls, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. The 90s.
The 90s. And I'm just going to tell another story because these are fun. I remember when I was a kid, this is 7, 8, I would go to class and all the white kids, would have like peanut butter and jelly.
Mhm.
And like I'd have korma sabzi. And like they're like, ew, what is that? It stinks. And like I was a kid, like I
They
was
don't
bullied
know.
because of it, right?
Yeah, I bet.
And little freaking 15 years later, university, I'm bringing that korma sabzi with pride. Like I love korma sabzi, and everybody around me is like, oh my god, give me some of that korma sabzi. Where was I going with this story?
Have you been back to Europe?
Oh, yes. Okay. So the reason why I told that story was after that, I became pretty, like, let's say, whitewashed, like assimilated into the culture. I had maybe a few Persian friends up until high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to Iran.
Mm.
I went to Iran after high school ended and, like, fell in love with their culture. Like, I was Persianified. Persian music. I had like a
Once you go
CD.
Persian.
There's no better version, baby.
I learned that a few days ago from a friend. I'm
Just
like,
a few
wow,
days ago, you've been in LA your whole life. Come
I'm sorry. I've been around
on.
Armenians all my life.
Persian Armenians, come on.
Once you go Armenian, there's no other. I'll figure something
You don't
out.
have a saying, okay.
I'll promise you guys. I'll figure something out. But
So
okay.
after high school, so I came back from high school and I was just super loved. Like I had a Persian CD with all the songs. Like I was just all over it. I was always close to the culture. I loved Persian culture, but like I didn't speak that much Farsi. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have that many people to speak Farsi to except my parents. So then when I came back from high school, first day of university, I'll never forget this. My cousin in Iran showed me a girl. Her name's Nargis. We could talk about her. She's sweet. They're best friends in Iran. And she's like, oh, she lives in Vancouver. And so the orientation day, I went to UBC in Vancouver. I see Nargis. And I'm like, you're my cousin Shiva's friend. I'm Reza. I'm her cousin.
Yeah.
I went to her wedding last year. Since then, we've been super close. And it was because of that was like the starting point that I started to have a ton more Persian friends in university. And so every year when it would be summer break, I would go to Iran
Wow.
to answer your question. And then that pretty much ended with my last trip to Iran, my last year of university, like 12 years ago. So that was the last time I went to Iran.
You know what I love? The fact that no matter how long you've lived here and however old you are, you've never lost touch with your roots.
No.
Like you cook Iranian food, you speak fully, you have so much respect for your culture, your parents. Like you're doing a wonderful job portraying that. Like anybody that watches your Instagram, they can tell, well, like this guy is really proud of, where he comes from.
Yeah.
Honestly. That's amazing.
And I haven't not gone
Your
back.
parents have to be proud of you for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because of them too, but you too.
It's because they couldn't speak. No, they can speak English. But no, like it's
I've
just
seen your
weird. Like if I speak English with my mom,
Right?
she's great, but it's just like weird.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I could
me
tell.
too.
She's like,
Me
Reza,
too.
what did you just Farsi have or something?
Yeah, I speak Armenian with my parents. They speak
Yeah.
Farsi with each other when they don't want me and my brother
Yeah,
to
they don't wanna talk
understand. And
shit,
it's like,
yeah.
when they want to talk. But, you have to, like, it's up to us to keep our culture going and,
Yeah.
like, alive, legacy of our people alive.
And I want to go back. So there's no particular reason that I haven't gone back, like a political reason, but it just happens to be that since I graduated from university, I got a job.
Yeah.
And with having a job, you get 3 weeks off, and just in generally speaking. And so since then, I've been like, okay, Tulum, Burning Man, Ibiza, like
Mhm.
Europe trip. So like there just
Yes.
hasn't been
You were just in Morocco,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Versus
for
like a
you.
university summer where you have 2 months, so you can go to Iran for an entire month. You can't just go to Iran for a week.
It's
I'll
so
go soon.
beautiful
I'll go
there.
soon.
Yeah, why not? What do you practice a religion?
No, not really.
How about your parents?
No, not really. No.
That's
I think
okay.
there's essentially like 4 main cohorts, 5 of Persians from a religious perspective. There's Persian Jews,
Mhm.
there's Persian Armenians, Christian, there's Baha'i, there's Persian Muslims,
Yes.
which there really aren't a ton of outside of Iran. And then there's the 5th, which are like the whatever,
Yeah.
like kind of vibe. And that's like all OC Persians or like yeah, I guess we're Muslim if we had to choose one, but like we're not practicing.
So you're Muslim, but you're not
It's
practicing
weird. Like I don't
Muslim.
know. I don't even know the answer to that question.
Yeah,
Am I?
I hear you.
I
I don't
am by
know.
like
Were you born into a Muslim family though? But you're just
Like
not
my
a
grandma
practicing.
wore a hijab, but
Okay.
like my dad has never prayed. My
Yeah.
mom has
Yeah.
never
Yeah. Yeah.
prayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
That
eat
makes sense.
pork. Like,
Is religion important for you?
no.
Okay.
I think like believing in something higher than yourself and the source and the universe certainly is
Yeah.
extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
The name of that source, whether it's
Yeah. Yeah. But the
Allah,
belief is
Jesus,
important for you.
$1,000,000%.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. Like,
It's table stakes.
no, 100%. And I always tell, like, when we're with a group of friends and we're talking, I always say, like, look, having a belief in something is so important. Like, you don't have to like be a Christian or have faith in, like, you know, Christianity or be Muslim. Like, you can choose whatever, even if the creator for you is more from a spiritual perspective, but that faith, that belief in something is really, it just gives you so much peace.
Yeah.
And it's so important. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but have faith and have faith in yourself, and that it brings you so much peace. And that's healing in itself.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't believe in anything, that's tough.
Yeah. You become a very miserable, angry.
Because there's no magic.
There's no magic.
I want
yeah.
magic. I want the
course.
untouchable, the intangible, the foozy, it's a fuzzy, it's a woozy, it's a wazzy. Very
yes.
nice.
The please let this happen, or I'm praying
Yeah.
for this, or we know whatever.
And
it
it's
is.
happened. Like I'm telling you, there's something divine.
There is, my friend.
What
and I
it
believe in that.
is?
Yes, whatever it is, we're going to leave it to everybody.
Yeah.
They want to believe in whatever, but there definitely is something up in there. I mean, look at us. We connect. I just messaged you one time and you were so kind enough to open your message. And I was like, oh, please, you know, like I hope because I'm sure you get like tons of, but it was so kind. And I think that it's always that belief that makes things happen for me. You know, I always have this like strong sense of faith, even though I am a Christian. I always have this strong faith and this belief, and that what keeps me going, and it keeps me sane, you know? So I don't know. I believe in that.
I'm wearing my cross as everybody thinks I'm Christian, but it's fashion.
You're wearing a cross?
Two.
Oh my God, I just noticed that.
Two.
Those are beautiful, Reza.
I remember I wore back when Cristiano Ronaldo was like super cool. I used to have his like haircut. He would wear a rosary.
He's still cool.
No, he's still cool. He's so nice. Did you see that picture of him going through the bushes
with
to
the
take
fans.
Yeah, he's so sweet.
He's
a good guy.
Very good guy. Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. The guy never changed who he is.
I wonder what's wrong with him.
I wonder what's wrong with
No,
him,
like
right?
you know what I mean?
seriously,
Like
yeah.
he's tall, the best football player,
In
like
the
still
world.
super good looking, and the kindest. And like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, I think that's what people. I just think that it's his faith,
Yeah.
and you know his family-oriented mentality, just being a good person. Like things like this manifest. You know,
Yeah.
the more the kinder person you are, the more wonderful things you manifest in the world, right? Well, Reza, this has been so nice. Thank you so
Aw,
much.
Thank you for going.
I
there.
appreciate
I like that.
absolutely, and you gave us a dance too, which was so cool.
I thought that was my camera for a second.
You were dancing into this
Yeah,
one, right?
yes, no, I figured. I once I looked here, I realized that oh no, he's not looking back.
I hope you guys saw a more personal side of Reza, which was really cool. We talked about your childhood and dating and sales and all kinds of wonderful topics. So thank you so much for opening up and accepting my invitation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Toodles.